And welcome to Living by Oak Values, guys. So today, AJ and I, we're going to be talking about communication, and that's inner communication, outer communication, and how that rolls into what you're telling yourself and how it rolls into self-sabotage, and just a matter of just checking your inner dialogue to become the best version of yourself. AJ, what do you have to add to that?
Inner versus outer comes down to what are we telling ourselves? What is your inner thoughts portraying on your day-to-day life? So anything that you convince yourself of, anything that you hold on to, it's all becomes outer thoughts. It sits on the outside. You portray it. You portray it in everyday life. It comes down, there was a couple of Bible verses that we had gone over this week that kind of touched on that a lot.
You're going to jump over there. All right, go for it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't jumping to it. I was just,
Go for it.
It made me think of it, but yeah, I don't want to hack it, gentlemen or ladies, anyone that's watching.
Well, there's no script, dude. You can go there. So I wrote down.
I wrote it down because I hate to ever misspeak the Bible. So James 1:19, my dear brothers and sisters, take notes of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. The next verse, which is James 1:20, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. So to me, that actually speaks really loud, right? Everyone should be quick to listen. You should always listen to the people around you, especially if we're talking about the women in our lives. One of the biggest things that matters to women is that you take the time to listen. And a lot of times they're not even looking for you to respond. They are just listen. They're just expecting you to listen. They want you to be there just as that helpful ear. They don't want your advice in that moment. And that comes down to also a lot of your inner thoughts, right? If you are telling yourself that you're not good enough, or telling yourself that you have not showed up in a way, or you're telling yourself you're insecure, then you're betraying them and everything you do. So you're not really able to listen or hear the things that they're telling you, because your focus is on what can I do to help them in this moment? What can I do to fix their problem? And that's portraying an insecurity that you have sitting on the inside. The slow to speak, when it comes to another aspect of things, if you don't think before you speak, then the words that come out of your mouth are just babble. They're useless. They have no pure meaning to it. If you think before you actually speak, then there's going to be conviction behind your words. There's going to be truth. There's going to be integrity. It's really important that you think before you just speak. The idea of being slow to become angry, one of the biggest things that I see, their insecurities that they hold inside from previous traumas, previous relationships, upbringing and such. That's another major inner thing that we tell ourselves that we kind of hold on to. We always get nervous. And when we don't like something that we're told is something we hear, we get very angry.
So real quick, so the listeners understand what is inner communication to you exactly. So since we're going into that.
Yeah, inner communication to me is anything that I'm telling myself. So am I telling myself that I love the man in the mirror? Am I telling myself that I'm a good husband, a good man, a good father? Am I telling myself that I am good enough? Am I telling myself that I show up in the way that I'm supposed to? But most of all, do I tell myself that I am the man that I want to be portraying?
Okay. So it's also what we believe that we tell ourselves. Because if we could tell ourselves anything we want, if we believe it, it becomes our truth. And a lot of inner talk or inner dialogue is negative. So if we believe that we are not the person we should be, if we believe that we could have done better or that we screwed this one up, then that is where self-sabotage is going to start creeping in, because we believe those words and therefore we are no longer good enough to do what we were out to do.
Exactly, brother. When you tell yourself, it's just like any repetition in life, right? Men attribute a lot of repetition to working out, having discipline. But when you tell yourself something over and over and over again, then you start to believe it.
Yes. And when you tell yourself the same thing over and over again, that's the beginning of self-sabotage. So when your fear or your belief of failure speaks louder than your truth, or than the real truth, and you believe it, That's when you are no longer good enough. And I guess so. I'm trying to think of like when I used to be down on myself before this work. So past failures used to identify me. So I used to identify as I'm Gary and I'm divorced. I'm not divorced. That's just something that happened to me. That's like I'm Gary, the guy that stubbed my toe. I'm not that guy. That's just something that happened to me and I'm moving past it, or I am past it. So it's important that we look at the things that happen to us and realize that they just happened. And it happens to a ton of people. We can live with that or we can move past it.
If you carry that every day, then it does become your truth. Like you said, what happens?
Joel wants to know what happens when the negative speaks louder. When the negative speaks louder, how do you combat that? So you combat that by stopping, breathing, and knowing the truth. Sometimes it takes a brother to tell you that. You reach out, and I don't know what camera to look at. I'm so confused.
Look at your YouTube.
I gotta look at this one in front of me. But I'm trying to read these. Cliff says, depends on what you say to yourself. Not self-sabotage if you tell yourself the positive narrative. Yes, but he's asking, what do you do when the negative is speaking louder than the positive? And sometimes it's reaching out to a brother or talking to friends, family, whatever it takes to help them realize the things that you did in your life that were good, the successes that you had, and that you more than likely have more successes than not.
Right.
And I don't want to use the word failure because failures are only a failure if you fail to learn.
Move yourself over, Gary. There you go. We want you centered. Yeah. For me, Joel, I know that when I start to get down on myself and convince myself or try to convince myself that my PTSD is completely taking over my life, or my pain is taking over my life, and I'm just useless, and I've lost this and lost that, I have to sit back for a minute. I have to take some space, and I have to remind myself that I still am a really good person, and that none of those situations actually define me. I did create a huge mess. I did destroy my marriage. I did destroy relationships, caused a lot of issues with my children. But like Gary said, that's not what defines me. It's just something that happened, and I have to remind myself of that. And if I really can't get past it, and I'm really holding on to that, then I call Gary. I reach out to a brother so that I have a brother to remind me that I'm not that guy. I am good enough.
Speaking of reaching out to brothers, I want to let everybody know that we just started a school, SKOOL, which is a private community for Northman coaching. And it is an investment that you would make in yourself. And it is an investment of 85 cents per day. With that, 85 cents a day, you're going to get 4 groups a week. And there is currently 1 class available in there. And we are currently adding to it. It's going to have more classes, more tiers, more opportunities in there. If 85 cents a day is too much of an investment, you need to look in the mirror. That's pennies a day. That's less than $1 a day. You probably spend more on coffee or whatever than you would on yourself at 85 cents a day, guys. So it's $26 a month for the year of 2026. So get on board now while it's low price of $26, 85 cents a day. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, remember there's nothing with all the frivolous spending that we do as men. There is nothing in the world that's better than actually creating the best version of yourself. Nothing. And building yourself up and continuing to learn. We do also have another class coming, like Gary said, also with Northman Coaching. If you are in the beginning stages of a divorce, if you are in those first 30 days, a lot of the decisions and the choices that you make are going to determine how your life starts to move forward. Some of those decisions may actually save your marriage. So go to northmancoaching.com, download the free ebook. It's called The First 30 Days. It is free. It's a download, and trust me, it's transformational. You won't be sorry that you did it.
Excellent. So AJ, tell me a time or a moment when your inner dialogue cause you to shut down or lash out.
Real quick, just to go back to Joel, because I noticed Joel had thrown a comment in there. I just didn't want to miss it. I find that does help, but the self is strong when it comes to believing the negative. You are right. In our minds, when it comes to ourselves, believing the narrative, it's not the negative though, Joel. It's the narrative that we keep telling ourselves. It's our past. It's something that happened to us. It is not today. It's not who you are today. Today, you're an author. You're somebody that runs an amazing podcast with Glow with your wife, and you're a great brother. That's who you are today. A hard worker. You're a good man, and you're there for people. That's what you need to start telling yourself. That will defeat that voice in your mind that you keep calling the negative.
It's Joel. It's also like I talked about the other night, Friday gratitude and reflection day, that having gratitude is discipline. The hurt and the negative always speak louder than the positive or the wins, or they're maybe not louder, but they're easier to feel. Showing gratitude takes discipline. You have to actually physically say, all right, I want to write down what I'm grateful for, or I'm going to say out loud what I'm grateful for. So if you take the same discipline and say what you've done well all the time, or say what you've done well in the mirror until you start believing it, it's the same thing. So I think it's a form of discipline. You have to train your mind and your body to focus on the positive things.
We're believing our own lies, and you got to change that narrative. You've got to change your narrative to telling yourself who you are today. Tell yourself every day who you are today. Or do what I do. I have a calendar alarm that goes off every morning that tells me what I want it to tell me. And I say that every morning. It's a little personal, so I'm not going to get into it. But I say that every morning out loud. I say it every afternoon and every evening to remind myself that that is my life now, so that I don't allow that negative to take over entirely. So now, back to your question, Gary. I apologize.
From an hour ago. It's all good. So can you name a moment where your inner talk or your negative talk caused you to shut down and or lash out?
Yeah, so I mean, I just went through a situation with my talking too much. My perfect example, right, just happened over the last couple of days. Took a statement from someone about the fact that I talk too much and that I need to stop over-explaining. I waste time, I waste energy, and it makes the things that come out of my mouth less appealing. People don't want to listen as much because of it, and I took past situations and I let it get myself down, and I shut down for the entire day. Yeah, I don't think I said very many words throughout that entire day outside of calling you and having the conversation I had with you, but so I still kept myself quiet.
Do you want to take 2 minutes and go into that conversation? Because I think it's important that, so
100%.
When you shut down, you pretty much were just being, I'm mad, I'm angry, I talk too much. Okay, I'll shut up. I'll never talk again. And I remember as a kid, I would get in trouble and I was like, all right, I didn't do this right. I'll never do anything like that ever again, until I kicked my feet and I'd scream and cry and really show what a man I was. That didn't last long, but it was a temper tantrum. So when you shut down, don't talk.
Yep.
And what did we discuss?
That's that inner child in you too. We didn't discuss that, but that's exactly what that is. It's that inner child shutting you down.
But we also talked about looking into why people think that.
Trying to figure out, breaking down why it is that people have those feelings. It breaks back down to, I don't remember the conversation in its full context. You're better at recalling conversations than I am, but
I don't know about that, but okay.
You're right. It comes down to your past and things that I've been told, but it also comes down to the last several weeks of us discovering and discussing communication, which is also very personal on it with inner versus outer. What we conversate about, what you have to say should have conviction. If you're over talking or over explaining something, you lose the conviction in what you're saying. I do remember one thing you said. If I deliver the message that I want to deliver, my response to you was, you said, why do you feel the need to go on after that? And I said, well, if I don't get a response from somebody, I think that they didn't understand it. So I will try to explain it in a different way, or I will try to relate to it by bringing up something personal that's I've gone through or that's happened in my life. And what you said to me was, why not take into consideration that once you've delivered that message, they've heard it. They're going to choose at that point whether or not they care or not, or whether or not they listen. Stop taking it on personally to feel the need to continue to explain yourself.
Yes. So actually, and I just thought of something that might not go over the way I think it should in my head. But so I'm a mailman full time. If I deliver the mail to the house, I don't knock on the door saying, "Hey, did you look in the box and get the mail? Did you look? Look now. Look what's there. There's letters. There's bills." I just deliver it and I walk away. They've received the message, whether they get it tomorrow or in 10 minutes or whatever. The message has been delivered. I walk away.
Joel said so. I'm guilty of it too. But what does it do to what does it do shutting down? It doesn't do anything. One, it just hurts you because you're in a child's popping out. You're having a temper tantrum. And two, you just end up affecting the people around you. That's all you do. And depending on who you're around, they may look at you like a foolish child at that point. And you've been judged. And that's a very uncomfortable feeling, in itself. That's a whole new situation that adds into the mix. Joel also says goes for relationships too. Shutting down doesn't fix anything one way or another. Good analogy, Gary. Deliver and walk away. And that's exactly what Gary gave me for a message in that conversation. Let's deliver what I have to say. Be done with it.
And if you want more great wisdom like that, reach out to me for some one-on-ones. We have a few slots available. If you're looking for some one-on-one coaching, reach out, get your 60-minute free consultation call, see where you're at and where you want to go. And if I'm the man for you, I'd be happy to help out. If not, I have plenty of other people that I can recommend to you. So whatever, you choose me or you're not, it's all good. But I do have a few slots available. So reach out if you're interested. NorthmanCoaching.com.
Yep. Looking for brothers to walk shoulder to shoulder. You won't be sorry that you made that call. Take the time. Go to NorthmanCoaching.com for that 60-minute discovery call. You'll realize in that 60 minutes that just alone, the transformation that you can make just from the information you get in that call and the fact that you will have somebody to walk shoulder to shoulder with you while you go through it.
Yes.
While you work to better yourself.
The next thing I want to discuss, moving away from inner dialogue and not outer dialogue, because it's going to come in here, is the way that people these days are reacting to the news, to social media, to things that truly do not affect them the way that they think they affect them. And I had a conversation with somebody the other day who we got into an argument over their beliefs. And it wasn't really an argument. It was me trying to understand where they were coming from. And if you know me, you know I love to try to understand. I love a good debate, and it's not to fight with you or tell you that you're wrong and I'm right, although I usually am right. But but I want to understand where everybody's coming from. So when you have something to say that I know has nothing to do with you, I'm going to question it. So this person got, their panties all up in a bunch over what's going on in the news that has nothing to do with them. And this was their stance on the topic, but they don't do anything about their stance. So they're just making a statement about what they stand for and don't stand for, but they have nothing to back it up. And when you're speaking with nothing to back it up, you look foolish. So really think about the things that bother you, because a lot of people have been bothered by something a month ago, and suddenly it has changed to whatever the news has got right now. And it will probably change again tomorrow to whatever you're told to be pissed off about tomorrow. So really think about the things that affect you. So the things that affect me right now are me, my daughter, my family, my brothers in the school, you, AJ, my job, the coaching, anything else outside of that. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm keeping my eye on it. I like to poke the bee's nest on social media with a lot of stuff, but I have no say or belief behind any of it really, because it does not affect me. So try to keep that in mind when it comes to communication with things that you don't need to communicate with. So.
Yeah, Gary said it best last week, right? The things that are going on in politics, for instance, they've always gone on. The only difference is we didn't have 100 million news outlets and all kinds of social media platforms. Yes, it's a little difficult when our president tweets this stuff as well, and so does everybody else. Yeah, no. But makes it a little difficult that it's all over the place for you. But honestly, the only thing that you can do to change politics if you don't like it is just to go out and vote. So don't let it affect your day-to-day life, because there's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. Don't be one of those people that watches the news and allows it to affect your day. And if you are one of those people that lets current events affect your life, the way that you act, the way you are at work, with your wife, with your family, whatever, stop watching the news. If you're going to do it and there's no other option, do it at night before you go to bed then, so you can go to sleep angry instead of taking you throughout your entire day angry. Because what matters is yourself, your family, and your close friends. That's it.
And I don't know what Joel was talking about when he said, easy, Gary, easy. I don't know where he thought I was going with that.
He was talking about you saying you had to fight the conversation you had with the other person about current events.
On the current events thing, remember that I had to write the part down. You react instead of respond, and you're letting emotions lead your life. And that is where I want to roll into what AJ was talking about earlier with, actually, let me take one more step back. If you want to read something that should emotionally charge you, there's this great thing I read. It's called the Bible. And let that charge you. Let that be what you stand on or stand behind. So like we said earlier, James 1:9, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Read the good book. Let that fire you up.
Agreed. You know, another thing to go to current events, right? Are you making smart choices after you hear this information? It's something to think about. In all aspects of life, it comes down to the choices you make. You're hearing something on the TV, something that you don't like. What are the choices that you're making as a result of it? Are they hurting other people? Like Joel said he knows a lot of, very true. No people like that. They just rant, no substance, come off like a donkey. Change that word. I don't want to get kicked off. So, you know, you don't want to be one of those type of people. I don't believe that anybody really wants to be like that. And if you do, all power to you. But if you don't, then think about that. Think about paying attention to the things that you allow into your mind and into your body and to a day-to-day basis. Don't let stuff like that into your heart, because that becomes that inner communication. And then it becomes outer communication. And then you make a donkey of yourself.
Yes. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The last part of the Bible that I have for this episode is Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So, and if you don't guard your inner conversation, then it will leak out into every single relationship and conversation that you have with others outside of your mirror or your head. So guard it with your heart.
And you know, for anybody, we try to keep it as clean as we can. We don't ever want to make it like we're pushing our values and beliefs of God or the Bible on anybody else. So we do try to keep it pretty clean in the verses that we use. We don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. But one of the smartest things that I think I've ever heard in my life was Gary said to me one day, imagine the first coaching book that was ever wrote. And I'm like, what? What book? The Bible. And I'll tell you, the more I read things, the more I realize that there is unbelievable knowledge, no matter what you believe, in that book. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows out there, we are not pushing religion. We are not pushing our belief system on anybody.
We're not. And if you think we are, you can just swipe left, swipe right, or X out, or shut it all down.
This isn't one night stands.
What's wrong with the one night stand?
No swiping. No swipe.
No swiping, swiper.
You can have your one night stands. Just, no swiper swiping. Don't swipe.
Swiper, no swiping. That was it. I used to love that show with my daughter.
Swiper, no swiping. Yep.
So I was going to get somewhere else in the Bible before we ended the Bible talk, but
good.
I'm trying to think of what I was going to say. Any issue that you're working through in life, you can find something in the Bible that will relate to that. I could be working on one issue and AJ could be working on another issue, and we could find the same scripture, the same passage, and it will mean something to me and something totally different to him. The way it works, it's so interchangeable. It really is the first self-help book that was ever made.
I really like what Joel just said. Joel says there is a lot of great things in the Bible, and it's not just for believers. It's for everyone. Joel, you're 100% right, brother. It is for everybody, even if you're not a believer. There's so much information, and it just may transform your life. So don't knock it.
Matt says we can't talk about the Bible and swiping right and left at the same sentence. I did it. I
kind of agree there, Matt.
Nobody's stopping me.
Yeah. No. Watch out now. We don't need to get kicked off the platform because you're trying to swipe left, swipe right.
I pay for it. You can't kick me off. I want a refund.
That is true.
Anyway,
that is true. Back to school.
Sure, school.
I want to throw it out there again. We only have so much time on our podcast, so I want to remind everybody again, we have the new school platform. That's SKOOL. If
How much is it?
On TikTok, it is 85 cents a day. And yes, it is less than a cup of coffee. There's a lot of frivolous things that we spend our money on, gentlemen. We all spend $1 a day on something that is useless, I'm sure. Look at your bank accounts. If you are sitting there saying to yourself, I don't. Yeah, you do. One of your streaming apps or something else or a collective. They're not bettering your life. They're just sinking you down and putting you in the couch. Coming and joining a brotherhood, getting the information that's there, that's going to transform your life. That's going to help you transform your life. We do have 4 men's groups every week. 3 of them are shorter groups. We have our group Monday, Wednesday, and Friday group. Monday is
Perspective
for the week. Wednesday is your, help me here, Gary. Too many thoughts in my brain. The bridge.
Wednesday's application. It's the bridge.
Application and bridge.
To get you from where you are to where you're trying to go.
And then Friday is just a wrap up of your week. Kind of go over what it is that went right, what it is that went wrong, maybe anywhere that you could have changed for next week. And we have our Thursday, which is our Motivated Men's group, which, believe me, gentlemen, you will absolutely love that group. We also do have a class that is in there as well. Like I said, again, for 85 cents a day or $26 a month, however you want to look at it, but 85 cents a day, gentlemen, it's very cheap. There's going to be some other classes that are getting added in very shortly as well. Right now, though, it is at a very low price. The tiers are going to change, gentlemen. So if you can get yourself in there now. Again, you can go to www.northmancoaching.com. Go to resources and you will find the SKOOL, and that is how you will get in. While you are in Northman Coaching, if you are going through the first 30 days, I'm stealing your words here, Gary.
Go for it.
You are going through the first 30 days of a divorce, or you just heard the D word for the first time, these are the most important 30 days for many, many years to come. You may just be able to save your marriage. You may not be able to. But how you react, how you handle things, it's going to make a significant impact on your life. We have a free ebook that you can download in there. Gentlemen, go and get it. Because I'm telling you, I wish I had had that opportunity my first 30 days. Maybe I wouldn't have ruined my marriage.
Glow says, get it for the women to get it, I guess, if you're planning.
Oh, look at that. Smart woman.
Trader. She's a trader.
Get the boy. That's terrible, Glow.
Before we continue on, I'm going to go back to the D word book. Because when I first got divorced, I wanted to save my marriage. It was all about saving my marriage. I realized in the end, there is something more important than saving the marriage, which is saving yourself. If the marriage ends, you need to know that you can pick it up and walk tall with your shoulders back like it hasn't bothered you, or that you have learned, grown, and moved on. If you sulk with your head down and cry about it all the time, you are a weak man. You need to take care of you. So, will you save the marriage? I have no idea. I would like to think it will help. I know it will help somewhat, but it will help you survive you, if that makes sense.
If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. And if you do follow it, and it's meant to be, there's a good chance that you will save your marriage. But if it's not meant to be, like Gary said, most men come to realize when they get to that point, they don't have a foundation to stand on. And if you want to learn about a foundation and the importance of having one, and how to stand and walk tall on your own and be a good man with values and boundaries and non-negotiables, and gentlemen, come check us out in school. Or come and get your free 60-minute coaching call.
And all the links are right on the homepage on the website, northmancoaching.com.
That's right.
So, and if you're looking for a good podcast other than this one, check that out.
That's right.
TikTok.
Absolutely.
Check that out, TikTok.
And on that note, too, if you're looking for a great book, May December End by Joel Rosario. Make sure I get this in both. This is an amazing book. You can go to Amazon for this book, and I'll say like I do every week, help me, Gary, because I always forget the other places. May December End, it is on Amazon,
Kindle, Nook, and BarnesandNobles.com. And I think he said on today's podcast that soon you can walk in and buy it in paperback at the actual brick and mortar store.
Amazing.
I was actually thinking about going and ordering like 500 copies, then canceling it just so they have them on the shelf.
Smart idea.
I just can't get my credit card because I already got 3 copies. I'm not getting any more. I love the book. I do, but 3 is more than enough.
That's great.
So, but if you guys if you guys read the book or listen to the book, make sure you reach out and let Joel know what you think of it.
Yeah. And also go to Spotify.
Doesn't work that way.
Go to Spotify, listen to Sessions and Lessons with our friend Joel and his wife Glo. He's also on YouTube. He's on Alexa Music. Is that right, Joel? I know you have a couple of places.
And Spotify.
YouTube, Spotify.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest.
Apple Podcasts. I know that for sure. But
anyway. Is that what it is?
Yes.
So check out Sessions and Lessons if you're looking for a good podcast, husband and wife. You won't be sorry that you checked that out either.
Enough of the plugs. So before we wrap it up, I want to talk about the self-sabotaging again.
Yeah, so let's get to it.
If you are looking in the mirror and you say there's no point to doing this because I'm not good at it, or no one will understand what I'm trying to say, or if I bring this up, I will lose everything. That's all negative talking. It's all coming from fear. You want to talk from abundance, not from scarcity. So if there's something that you need to bring up that's going to benefit you, even though there's a downside, weigh it out and do what you need to do. Do not live with that fear. So when we stay silent, we explode later. So just remember that. So you don't want to build it up. You need to get it out. You need to figure out, play it out in your head, but seek advice from an elder, from a coach, from a mentor, from a brother in a brotherhood. Whatever it takes, seek out that information that you need so that you don't stay silent.
Absolutely. I think a lot of us self-sabotage, and it's why it's so important to go down this road, guys. Not having a life coach, not having a brotherhood. So many guys get lost in the communication and they start self-sabotaging themselves in so many ways. It's just like I talked about earlier with my communication and talking too much. I self-sabotage myself. My answer in that moment was letting that inner child out and, well, I'm just not going to talk anymore. Boo-hoo. I must really make people angry. People must not want to listen to what I have to say. And that's a really crappy thing to tell yourself. It's a really bad thing to tell yourself. And I know that I can help people. I know I can help people that go through divorce. I know that I can help people with parenting. I know that I can help people that have been in industrial accidents like I have, or any type of accidents, or people with PTSD that go through the flashbacks and panic attacks, night terrors, because I live it and I have chronic pain that never goes away. So I know that I have a lot to offer. It's very easy for me to wake up after not sleeping, have a terrible tremor of a nightmare, and tell myself, I'm just no good for this. It's very easy. That's that inner communication that you have with yourself, guys. And it's really important.
Glo likes when you talk. She likes your accent.
Oh, thank you, Glo.
I don't think she's talking about me. I don't have an accent.
No, you definitely don't. You have that odd Rhode Island or nothing.
I've lived in a million places accent. I have the blend of everything. So before we do any more small talk, to tie it all together, all of the inner talk, the outer talk, the allowing the the current events to phase you, remember that your integrity aligns you. Your humility is about being honest, and your courage is about communicating truth even when the fear is loud. So if you have integrity, humility, and courage, then you are living a life of values. So, and a man who masters... Oh, this is the quote I had.
Yeah. The man that masters...
You got it? Go for it.
Yeah. A man that masters his inner and outer becomes steady, grounded, and trustworthy.
Yes.
And
why does that happen?
Think about that. Guys, just hear that again. A man that masters...
Because he's no longer fighting himself. So, yes, bad days will come. They're never going to stop. Good days will come also. They're never going to stop. And everything good will have an end, but so will everything bad. So when your life is bad, remember, it's not permanent. And I want to step back to where you were saying earlier about not having a life coach or whatever. I highly suggest making that investment in yourself. Whether it's with me or with Cliff Shuffler, C.E. Shuffler, he does this and he's an excellent guy, whoever it might be. Make that investment for yourself. So I have a coach. and I have a therapist, and I am a coach. So there's no shame in having any of those. I think every single human being should have someone to talk to. So, and therapist actually, that's insurance. So, but what was that? So if I pay this 85 cents a day for this school, what happens if I miss a class? So there's no obligation. It will. All right. We're going to wrap this up. So, once again, guys, 101s, we have a few spots available. The D Word book for the first 30 days. We have our school at 85 cents a day, cheaper than a cup of coffee. And that has 4 men's groups in it. And we are a brotherhood. And most important thing, anything said in this brotherhood never leaves. Anything, if it's recorded, if I'm trying to record them all, they cannot leave the school. I couldn't leave it if I wanted to. So, all private. And that's it. So join us next week. I don't know what the topic is, but I have the feeling it's going to have something to do with the post that was yesterday from Mr. Burton. And tomorrow is Monday, so we will see you for perspective. Let's get the week started right. Tomorrow night, 8:30, we're going to be discussing perspective, mindset. Let's get the week going right. So that's a wrap for today. You got anything else? All right, guys. You all have a great week. Have a good night, guys. Thanks.